Hey guys, we got to get ready for a load tomorrow, so I've got to move all of my lumber and tarps. I'm going to have some generators. It's 13 feet. I got 10 feet to work with, so I got to move everything down here. So bear with me. We're just getting ready for a load, and this will be the beginning. We're near Texarkana, so at the deadhead, several hundred miles just to get closer. You ready? It's a lot warmer out. T-shirt weather. It's a little coolish. It's in the shade, but it's not bad. get a bit heavy when they're full of water. So, plus this muddy, nasty mess. So I gotta kind of put it in my head. I've got two at 16.5 with space in between. So that shouldn't be too bad. And one at 13. So it's not too bad, but I just want to make sure that I have enough room for everything out of the way, and then they can set the piece on the top, and it'll hang over. So I got to make sure that I got enough space to get everything flat, so that the piece can come over and sit at the level of the upper deck. And that's a little trick for people that have bad back. You can just push it up against the wall and tip it over without having to deadlift. But I had to see how it was going to lay, taking up too much space. So I'm going to put my lumber down here next to the ladder, and then I'll set the tarp in. Now comes the part of stacking them, getting them laid in and then laying the chain around it, tie them down, then I'll set the tarps on top. So it's a little bit of weight, you know, several hundred pounds of stuff, but we go slow at it, it works. Too high. get them where it'll come around and lay out about here for your hook. That way it gets a nice squishy. In between the two loops of hook to put your binder in to be able to draw it tight. You can leave the extra chain on the other side and lay it in the well there. It's not going to go anywhere. You guys just a little bit. I think you can see a little better that way. So I've got both of my hooks. I'm going to hit the center. I'm going to try and get this drawn out. It'll be a little bit loud here and there, but that way I can draw it up. And this stuff will be tight as a drum. Give them a tug. Make sure you got good footing. Try and get it all the way. When I have both of them, I'll give them a lift. Sometimes you'll get a link to slip. If you do, just try and grab. And if you can't, go right back to where you were. Sometimes you get a little bit. Sometimes you don't. And on these, they don't have a neutral, really. When I do the single hazmat bunker, I use one board, the same kind of tie-in as here. Same exact thing, and I'll show you with the camera a little bit better after getting it tightened up. grab the camera. Let's see if I can turn you around a little bit. Okay, let's take a look. See? Same kind of grab for the single or a bundle of them. It makes a good, for hazardous materials like totes, you want to make sure you have like a footboard bunker. So I just call them bunkers. So that's what we got. There's my ladder. There's my extra chain. It's not going anywhere. I've got to put all the rest of the stuff away. So let me turn you back around. I'll get you a good spot here. Yeah, I think it's alright. Yeah, this should work. Didn't have enough room for 2 straps. I usually run 2 straps, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about it because 1 strap holding down is going to hold it just fine and keep the ladder in. The thing is that these are movable a lot easier. So if I suddenly decide that I don't have enough room, deck space here, which I think I'll be fine, then I can move them. But they're down low, and even if something sits on them, it's just going to compress them. But if it doesn't work right, then I can move them. And I still think I have enough deck space. I can lay them this way. That's behind the bunker, on top of the ladder, holding everything down. So I don't think it's going to be an issue. And I may jump up there after I look at it. I want to see how it looks on the dead flat. And I think it'll compress. But if not, tomorrow or when you see the rest of the load on here, because I got 2 stops. So I have to be prepared for the 13-foot piece length. I think it's 8 foot high. And that's not a problem because that's the level of flatbed. And they would have had to call flatbed, but they just weren't finding any trucks. So, and plus this is an agent I've been working with for many years since I first come here. I've been here 16 years. So the thing is that I would much rather, and they would much rather, I do it too. So I'll show you after a bit. Okay, sorry I had a call from home. Well, I don't know if it'll show up on the screen or not, but it doesn't matter. So I just paused it, and you know, we got something else going on. We'll finish up. My wife understands. realized it's a good time to show you how I do my straps. I've showed them, but that was years ago. Let's try it. Get you set up here. Yeah, you can see it. Everybody's got different ways. Hold it out here now. I'll give you a little close-up. Okay, you can kind of see how it all works. Turn you around again. And we'll get it all done. Let me get the bar. You can twist the bar. Get this down here where you can see it. When you're going down the bar, you go down here, and then you can twist it up. That's why the tip is angled. You see what I'm saying? Turn you around. That's how she looks. Now that should compress it, but doesn't, I will move them. No big deal. Like I said, I can do them like this. I'm gonna roll the strap. I don't break out to the bar or the roller just for a single one. I always roll them backwards. I roll in the steel inside. Some people don't like that, I understand, but I gotten older and I need the counterweight. So I roll them like that. Like this. That way when it goes over, I have to half twist it. And that keeps wind resistance, from, you've heard of chattering straps going down the road. Well, that can dig into product and do damage. I've mentioned that before. And it's a pain in the butt to do it by hand, but some guys are faster. I only have part of a thumb. That's just the way it is. It takes me a little bit longer. But it's no big deal. It's not really a handicap. It's more of a nuisance. And my dad had the same part of his thumb missing on the other hand from a bandsaw. Mine came from something else. But anyway, that's it. That's the prep work I had to do to get ready. I'm 30 miles from the shipper for the first stop, and then I got to roll about 500 for the next one. So we'll get it together. I'll put this video in parts for you. I included some of the basics. I got to thinking, you know, there's a lot of new folks coming out, and they may not have seen those videos that are, sorry about that, 10, 12, 15 years old. They've not seen them. Some folks have seen them from all over the world. Some people have come here to go trucking, and they've used the videos on my channel and a bunch, I think several others, you know, just to say, hey, that's the American dream right there. You're dang right it is. It's a tough one. I'm 65. I ain't quitting. You know, they can go to heck with that quitting. So we're just going to keep rocking and going down the road, and we'll see you in the next part.
He wants you to go forward where you can bring it in here, and then we'll bring it.
Had to have me pull up so they could get it in line with the crane. Hopefully you can see enough. I just have to be ready to back up at a moment's notice, and I'll try and get them setting it on there, but they had to, you saw the big crane. They call it a rotator. I never heard it called that in my whole entire life. I just thought it was a boom truck, you know. Yeah, don't fall down. Originally supposed to get a 13-footer up top, is what I was told, but it turns out this is 16.5 feet, so it's going on the bottom. It'll make it easier to load. And I'll get a different one, 2 more out in Odessa, Texas. That's 500 miles, so. And you can see they had like a tongue deal that sits on the fork truck. And he just kind of pulls or pushes wherever he needs to put the unit. So they're getting ready to holler at me, and I'll have to back under when they're ready. So shut it off for a second. Should work, huh?
Yeah, it's gonna try to roll.
Okay, we'll just have to get a.
You got a chain we can use.
Well, there he goes. Get it all done and everything aired up. He's had tie down bars because this was all enclosed up to a point. You couldn't really get a good hook on it up here. So, single chain, 2 binders, thing like I've always used. That works. I'm going to point out a point of order here and get around to the other side. And one of the things I had to watch for, and I had to ask for, well, besides the doors, was this. This was up another couple inches. So what I did is I hopped up and I cranked it all the way down to the stop. That way I know it cannot go any further. Vibration, it will happen. It has happened before. Make sure this is locked down, safety chains, bolts, everything is good. You don't want to have any missiles coming off. This top piece, it is bolted down. So we want to make sure it's locked and bolted. It's not a hinge or anything like that. I want to make sure that was. So that could be a guillotine coming through the windshield. Make sure of that. Look for any plates, anything loose. Doors, you want to make sure doors are squared away. You don't want them plopping open because it could do damages. Yes, it's a used unit, but you don't want to screw it up. So we're pulling backwards. The other guy did the other chain while I was on the other side. I do them a little different, but it's still okay. And then these things are tight as a drum. Now we're leaving. It's 13 feet to here. So they said it was like 13 and a half. So I got plenty of room to get the other piece on the top, and they are all wheeled units. They had to hire on their contract, you know, that's their business, getting that wrecker out here. They call them rotators, by God, and I just don't know why. It's weird. I always just call them boom trucks or wreckers, you know. So this is it. I'll do what I can to get some more footage of the other units being loaded. Can't promise it, but at least you get to see the process. And that way, you get an idea of what's going on. So another 16 and a half footer will fit on the bottom deck, no problem, with the other one sitting on top of 13. So you guys know what's going on. Stuff to look for. I'm trying to share these tidbits with you. So any of you new guys and gals out there coming aboard, wanting to do it, there's stuff you have to watch for. You have to put your hands on things and check it out. Okay, let's move on to the next one. See you in Odessa. I was able to get a little bit of the other truck. A really beautiful Peterbilt. Just got it out of rebuilding the motor or swapping motors or whatever. And we got our second unit. I made a little bit of a change because of the bouncing. So I put a chain over the tongue on the other one. So that way you know. That's where they've been doing them a lot too. But had a real fun one last night. See that new brake chamber over there? Well, tire gator blew off the trailer in front of me. Had nowhere to go. So it went under the trailer and it took out one of the lines, snapped it off on the threads into the brake can. And it's one of those old ancient band types. I can't remember the nomenclature of it, but they couldn't really get it caged to take it off there. When you don't do that, it has a real chance of exploding. So I was in the shop for hours trying to get all that stuff done, but we got there. I was able to screw the line back in and make it 16 miles to a shop. So yeah, I got it to where it wasn't leaking. I couldn't hear it anyways, but I was next to the highway. So we're doing 4 binders. I switched. It had too much bounce for me, you know, and I had a strap get cut because it moved up from so much bouncing. So I changed it and went to 2 chains, 4 binders each unit for the main tie downs. And that was, I would say, going to be perfect. It's going to hold it down a little more steady. I just don't like any bouncing with that foot going on. So we've got everything basically locked down to where it's touching and there's pressure, and that's what I want. I don't want any bouncing or movement of any kind. And it was, you can feel it when you're driving. If there was, you know, because it's wheel, you know, they're on springs, these units, and you're going to feel that sway and movement. I didn't need the top deck. There's no third piece. So that is the way she goes. I guess they don't have springs. Just probably the movement of the tires. I was just looking under there. I'm not seeing it. So I figured they had leaf springs. I'm not sticking my head under there anyway. But that's okay, because top of the deck needed to be cleaned off, and all the dust, and it needed some sunlight, you know. There was a lot of brine salt and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's a beautiful Pete. It's really, really super nice truck. He's got a cat in there, a C15, I believe he said. Rebuilt everything, and he did it cheaper, a lot of the stuff, than what I got for my Cummins. So that's the way it goes. I'm gonna swap around here. Get my finger out of the pie. So that is it. We're going up to Gillette, Wyoming. A lot of the loads for us are quite a long distance, at least 250, 300 miles. This one paid all right, you know, but we're coming out of spring, or up into spring, and it's gonna start hopefully breaking loose here pretty soon. I still say a lot of the, I'm seeing a lot of pipe loads, and that would be for drill pipe and gas pipe and other things like that. Various things are moving, so they're producing. It's starting to break loose a little bit, and let's just hope that it starts, you know, getting around to all of us, because we could surely use it. And it's been a long several years, just an absolute nightmare for the country. A lot of people had real difficult times dealing with illnesses and this and that and economic hits, and let's just hope we can bring this around and get stronger, and everybody can pull together and enjoy and have a life. That's pretty much how I see it. So I guess we'll end that one. There's a little bit of drama on the road with debris, and sometimes you just can't help it. You see the smoke, and then here comes this flopping piece of rubber, and you got about 1.5 seconds to figure it out. There's vehicles right next to you. You know, there's not a lot of choices. So, and I just tried to straddle as best I could. I just this one I didn't calculate, or it flopped. It actually would land, and then it did a circle, and then the other end of the tire. It was a full gator. And if it just been pieces, they'd laid flat enough most of the time to go over them. But this one did not work that way, and it did cut one of the lines a little bit, and they had to cut it off and then use a new ferrule and stick it on there in the fitting. But at least I got it in safely off the road, because it was a bad shoulder angle. I did not like it. It was not safe, and as long as I knew it was going to hold, I proceeded down the road, and it saved a road trip, but it got me off the dang shoulder. It's so dangerous. There's so much stuff flying all over the place anymore. So you folks take care, and we'll see you on the road.